Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. And I've got a special guest today, and it's Alicia from the Baroness of Beef. And I met Alicia around, I think, November, when I saw her being interviewed by Bella the Steak and Butter Girl. And I heard the Australian accent. I just had to contact Alicia, and yeah, we've been emailing back and forth, I think, these last few months. So anyway, Alicia's got a wonderful testimony to share, and I'm just going to hand it over to Alicia to share a bit about yourself and share your testimony. So there you go.
Thanks, Fiona. Thank you so much for having me on your channel. Apologies, everyone. My voice is a bit funny. I'm a little bit under the weather and I'll be sipping some bone broth, so bear with me. My carnivore journey started on the 3rd of July, 2022. And basically, what brought me to carnivore, kind of the overarching thing that brought me there, was the quest to get out of pain. I suffer from a condition called adenomyosis, which affects my uterus. So it's like endometriosis, but unlike endometriosis, where the tissue breaks out and grows outside the wall, mine got into the wall. So that's caused me a lot of issues throughout the years, just increasing pain, and to the point where I was on big amounts of opioids for probably around 10 years. And that also included some CBD at the end. It was really taking a toll on my body. My liver was just not functioning how it should. It was so expensive to live on medication. CBD in this country is extremely expensive. I really don't know who can afford it. We're a bit behind the eight ball. Yeah, with the rest of the world. It's a great tool, but it just wasn't sustainable for me. So basically, my pain levels and my discomfort was so great because my uterus is twice the size that it should be. Landed me in a hospital having a talk about having a hysterectomy in my early 40s. And at first, the doctors were pretty compliant with what I wanted, because a total hysterectomy is the only cure for adenomyosis. And then when I went back the second time to the clinic, they were extremely dismissive of me and basically pushed paperwork into my hands to try and get me to have a procedure prior to having a hysterectomy, which would essentially cauterize all that tissue inside my uterine wall, which made zero sense to me. It was like trapping all that stuff in there. So I left the clinic feeling really, really frustrated, really angry, really upset, and really powerless to a point. But then I was like, no, I really need to take my health into my own hands. There must be something that I can do. Okay, if this surgery isn't going to happen, what can I do dietarily to maybe help myself? So, of course, we get on the internet, we look around at what's happening. And the first thing I discovered was keto. So there was a lot of forums, a lot of people talking about the benefits of keto when it comes to endo, adeno, PCOS, all those different types of gynecological conditions. So I was like, sure, okay, why not? What have I got to lose? I'll give it a go. And to be fair, I really enjoyed keto, probably a little bit too much in the sense that all I really enjoyed were the desserts.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like I kind of just spent my time making fakeaways of all the foods that I really loved that had previously gotten me into trouble with my health, with my weight. At one stage in my life, I was morbidly obese. I was incredibly sick. I was very, very depressed. I had to quit my job because I just couldn't physically work anymore due to how sick the weight on my body was making me. Um, so I'd already sort of gone through a significant health journey. I'd also quit alcohol. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I drank very heavily for 10 years and it almost destroyed my life. So I sort of thought that I'd been through the big milestones, but it turned out kind of finding my way through the keto loophole into carnivore was one of the most impactful things that I've ever found in my life. So keto was good in the sense that it made me realize how just addicted to sugar and carbohydrates I actually was. And I never saw myself as a sugar addict. I thought that was for other people. but I was, and I was perpetually chasing sugar on keto. And I noticed that I was really, really hungry all the time. I didn't feel satiated. I was eating salads as big as my head. And I was just like, there's something not happening here for me. The pain and inflammation receded a little bit, but it wasn't enough for me. And because I am who I am, and I like going all in and really pushing myself to try different things, carnivore kept coming up in tandem with keto. And so I looked into it and I was like, you only eat meat. I was like, that is bizarre. No, surely not. Like, what, how do you survive? How do you get your nutrients? How do you go to the toilet? All those types of things, that we all probably go through when we come into carnivore and animal-based eating. And I was like, it sounds mad, but what have I got to lose at this point? I can either try nothing and just accept where I am, or I can do something that's completely outside my comfort zone, completely outside the box. Sure, okay, I'll try it. And I was so wary, and I was like, I'll do it for 7 days. I'm like, 7 days is all I can handle, because I was like, eating meat all day, that seems extreme to me. And I did it for 7 days. And at the end of the 7 days, I wasn't taking pain medication.
That is great, isn't it?
It was mad. And
That is huge.
I was like, no, no, surely not. I was like, I must just be having, a manageable month. Okay, sure. Well, that was fun. I'm going to go back on keto because I want to make a whole lot of keto desserts. Want to chase the sugars
Yeah,
again. So I went back to keto. And of course, the pain starts kicking up, the inflammation starts kicking up. I'm chasing sugar again. I'm hungry, I'm irritable. It's not working for me. So finally, I just cracked it and was like, there was really something powerful about what I did for those 7 days on carnivore. I don't know what it was, what the magic is there, but I'm going to try it again. And if my body reacts in the same way, that's it. So I went back on for another 7 days. By the end of the week, at a time where I should have been taking the most medication in my cycle, I wasn't needing it. So
that
here
is
we are
huge.
almost, yeah, yeah, yeah. And people are like, what? Surely not. And I was like, if I had any other explanation besides that was the one thing that I distilled down was my diet, it blew my mind. And I was like, well, I guess this is it for you. And we're almost 2 years down the track, and I'm still doing
That
it.
is awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's pretty much me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, so what sort of foods did you have when you started the carnivore, and how has that evolved for you over these the time that you've been on carnivore?
Yeah. I pretty much started with a pick and mix bag because I didn't want to limit myself to saying I'm only going to eat this or eat that in the beginning. And I was just kind of finding my feet and finding my tastes and seeing what I liked. So primarily, as the name may suggest, it's been beef. I've always
Yeah.
favored red meat. I wish I could tolerate lamb, but unfortunately, there's something about the protein that does not agree with me and makes me quite ill. I know you love your lamb, Fiona. I think about it
Yeah.
all the time. I'm like, maybe I can try, lamb patty, but I'm like, I don't think I'm prepared to test those waters just quite yet. I do on occasion have things like now in my diet, it's like chicken and pork, bacon. When I was first carnivore, it was basically any kind of animal product that I could get in, fine. So eggs are a big staple for me. I do love salmon and prawns for the hit of omegas. I feel really good when I have that. I eat cheese. I'll eat cream. If it comes from an animal, I'll have it, no problem. I'm not a person for organs. It's not that I don't like them. It's just I don't crave them,
Yeah.
and I don't eat what my body doesn't ask for. That for me that doesn't make sense, and I'm not going to force myself to eat something if my body's like I'm really not interested. And if I'm happy and healthy and getting everything that I need from the animal sources that I do get it from, that's fine with me.
That sounds good. With the lamb, you could probably do some neuroplasticity to help with that, because as you know, I've overcome a lot of food sensitivities by doing neuroplasticity. So that's probably something you could think about down the track so that your
Definitely.
body can tolerate that yummy lamb.
Yeah, it's funny. It was something that I ate as a kid and I really enjoyed and I had no problems. But as an adult, there's something going on there for me. And yeah, it's definitely worth looking into for sure.
Well, as I've known from reorigin, it's always the limbic system that is causing those reactions. And yeah, so yeah, hopefully you can give it a go down the track.
For sure.
Yeah. So do you ever see yourself eating, veggies and fruit again? Maybe fermented, or you get that like a
For me, in my life currently, no. I don't feel like my body's giving me any kind of clear signals that it needs or requires. That I think it's really interesting though, and I know that we had a chat a little while ago about how 100% carnivore just wasn't it for you. And
mm, mm,
as soon as you made that change and went more animal based and added those low carb fermented veggies, you just saw a huge change, which I
that's
think is
right.
amazing. And I think it's really important for people to not get rigidly locked into their eating protocol and know that it's okay if you want to change. It's your body, it's your health, and
Exactly, that's
you
right.
know I can't, I don't have a crystal ball and I can't see into the future. So I wish I could 100% answer that. But for me, my body is so happy eating this way. It's
Yeah.
given me no kind of reason to deviate and change. I mean, the only things I'll do occasionally is maybe really distill down my diet to beef, salt, and water lion diet if I feel like there's a need for it, and that might be something to do. I have autoimmune psoriasis, which is
Mm.
far calmer on carnivore. It used to be cracked and itchy and bleeding
Yeah.
and all these types of things. I'll only have teeny tiny, like it'll just get extra dry or something will happen, or, I might be a little bit under the weather like I am now. People think being a carnivore that it suddenly makes you immune to everything. I don't know why. Some people have this attitude that, "Oh, how can you be sick? You're a carnivore." I'm like, I'm carnivore. I'm not Batman, dude. Like, I'm not a superhero. So,
That's
um,
right,
you,
I agree.
yeah, it's a funny thing, but I'm human just like everybody else. I choose to eat meat and animal products. Will it put you in a space where your health is optimized? For sure, but you're going to come across bugs, pathogens, you name it, and
Exactly.
if your immune system is going to let it in, it's going to let it in. But I think definitely your diet plays a part in how you recover from illness,
Mm,
from addiction, so many things in this world.
exactly. Now, like me, you actually came from a vegan
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
of eating too. So share a bit about that too. Just give it a bit of a background there.
Yeah, look, I think I've tried every form of eating practically under the sun. And I, I did for a period of time. I went vegetarian, then I was like, I'm going to go vegan, and it wasn't from an animal welfare perspective. It was more, I want to see what the effects are on my body. And at first, for me, it was very psychosomatic. It was like the more vegetable I ate, the more virtuous I felt. And
Mm,
that's not what my body was telling me was happening on the inside. I've had such issues with my digestion ever since I was a teenager, completely resolved with carnivore. But when I was vegan, and particularly raw vegan, like I dipped my toe into that, I was like a beach ball. I was
mm,
so bloated and so distended. I had massive brain fog and it just wasn't happening. But I really tried for me, and I don't want to throw shade at people. They can eat whatever they want, and I really have a strong stance on this. It's not up to me to point fingers and say this is what you should be doing, and I'm right.
mm.
Go live your life. Peace be with you. Be a good person. But
I
vegan, the
agree.
vegan diet, yeah, for me, just and I. I had a really short fuse. I was really irritable all the time. My sleep was just atrocious. My energy
Mm.
levels were bad. And I just kept that going for so long. And I look back at all these pictures that I was, posting about food. Everyone loves to share their food pictures. And the captions to them were me trying to convince myself how good I felt. And I really didn't. I really didn't. Um, and it just got to the point where I knew it wasn't working for me. And yeah, I was like, how long am I going to continue to do this for? Why am I doing this? What's the payoff? What's the benefit? So
Mm.
definitely that wasn't it for me. So, and I never thought that carnivore would be, but here we are.
That's right. Yeah, it's amazing what our bodies tell us when we, try these different things. It's kind of reminds me of that saying, repeating the same thing over and over again, trying to expect the same results. And I think I was the same with that when I was a vegan too, and my body had to have that meltdown and crash for me to actually go, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the body keeps the score, and it will eventually tell you this is not it for me.
Mm. That's right, that's right. And there's so much to look out for in being a vegetarian or vegan. You've got the oxalates that you've got to look for and eat in season, and it's just so, there's so many things that you've got to look for. And
Mm.
yeah, yeah. I
I,
just love the way that carnivore makes us feel. It's just huge, isn't it? It's
yeah,
huge.
it really was a game changer and a lifesaver for me. And it's funny that you touched on oxalates. I was just like, I had no idea what oxalates were. I'd never even heard of them. They were not even in my sphere of
Mm,
understanding. Um, and it's amazing how many things can be happening inside the body due to oxalate toxicity, um, and candida as well. A lot of people don't
that's
realize that
right.
candida is a problem, and some people live with mild to moderate infections and they don't even realize it. And then starting to distill down the diet and strip stuff out,
Mm.
suddenly highlights that, and they're like, "What is this?"
Yeah, those oxalates are huge. I'm just so grateful for Sally K. Norton for bringing that to awareness. I think, the
Yeah,
more people get to realise that, they can get their health on track too.
100%.
Yeah. Now, if you're probably like me, you're probably seeing people that start the carnivore journey and you just see the mistakes that they're doing. Do you want to share some of them from your
My,
point of
I
view?
can, yeah, I can probably share some of my personal mistakes.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest one for me was going into carnivore with a restrictive mindset,
Mm,
and not just allowing myself to eat and get fed, be nourished. I was
mm,
still like, you must only eat the portion of meat that looks like this, and you can have one egg and da da da. And I couldn't understand that I had to eat. I had to reset my hormones. I came into carnivore as well with a hell of a lot of damage from doing a lot of binge restrict behaviors, a lot of crash dieting for bodybuilding. I had tanked my leptin and my ghrelin so badly that I couldn't even
mm,
trust when I was hungry, when I was full. I had no idea. And carnivore was a little bit confronting in the sense that when I started it, my appetite just absolutely opened up. And it was like I was a
okay.
bottomless pit. And I just could not stop eating in the sense that I would have the meal and be like, I'm not full. I'm going to eat more. I don't understand what full is. And when you come from that restrictive mindset and you have those behaviors in there, yeah, it's very challenging. And I'm not going to
Mm,
lie when I say that there was some tears in there because there were quite a few. Um, and that urge, as soon as you see the scale start shifting and the pants are getting a bit tighter and all these things are happening, and your entire being is saying, stop what you're doing, restrict, must be this number on the scale, must look like this, X, Y, and Z. And I had so many issues psychologically to sort out there.
mm,
And so that's been part of the carnivore journey as well, is like when you first go carnivore, get off the scales. That should not be your focus. What your focus
Totally
should
agree.
be, is what's happening with your health. Is your skin getting better? Are your digestive issues resolving? How's your mental health? How's your sleep? What is it that you came to carnivore to heal? That should be the focus. If
Exactly.
a lot of us that come that have the restrictive mindset or background, when the initial weight gain starts that we weren't expecting, that can be really jarring and it can deter people a lot from the path. But let me tell you, I stuck it out and I stuck it out for a good 6 months until my body went, thank you so much for feeding me. I don't need these materials anymore. Let go. And it happens. And it's weird. There's something around that 6 month mark. And it's happened for a
Yeah,
lot of people. It happened for Kelly Hogan too, as well. I think it happened for
exactly. That's
Bella,
right.
Steak and Butter Gal around the same time. And you know, the words trust the process seem a bit whatever when you're in the thick of it, because you're like, I don't want to trust anything right now. Um, but truly, I would say, yeah, give your body a chance to heal. I'm not saying, mindlessly go out and just sit there eating sticks and sticks of butter all day and all those types of things. But what I would say is feed your body meat until
Mm.
the meat doesn't taste great anymore. And if that happens to be a kilo of meat at one sitting, it happens to be a kilo of meat. Allow yourself the chance to get nourished and heal.
I agree, totally agree with that. Now, I think we're probably coming to an end to this. Is there anything else you'd like to add to what you've shared? Actually, one thing I've thought about,
Yeah,
yeah, we've got to look at it as a holistic view. Some people just think, oh, diet and that's it, and I'll be right. But you've got to look at is there any trauma? You've got to look at a holistic thing. How's, as you said, mental health
yeah,
and so forth like that. So I know that you too are looking into all that as well.
I definitely am. It's only been recent. I mean, look, I've already always known that I've struggled with mental health in one way or another, but I never fully understood what was going on for me until recently, until I got an incredibly attuned trauma informed therapist who's just been transformative for me. And I've had a lot of therapeutic interventions and seen a lot of people over the years, and none of them have been the right fit. None of them knew what to do with me. It was have some medication, try this, try that, feeling like they were frustrated that I wasn't making progress, yet the diagnosis of what was happening for me was not it. And to find out that I suffer from complex post-traumatic stress disorder, just to even know that that's a part of my system has been amazing for me. And that's hard to say, hey, finding out, you're traumatized is amazing. But in a sense, you know what you're working with. And you're like,
That's right.
great, now I can look at the tools like things like the neuroplasticity. I'm currently going through EMDR therapy, which is, whoa, it's a trip. And it's a lot, but it's amazing. And I'm really staying the course with that because yes, I want to look after my body, but my mind and my spirit are so important. And you're right, it's an entire package that you have to look at, and for me, when I look at all those components together and know that I'm working on each of those parts, it's so fulfilling.
That is so good, isn't it?
Mm.
And something else that you're doing too is you're doing a diploma of nutrition. So how's that going and how much longer have you got before you're qualified?
Yeah, I've got about 6 more months. It's just been amazing, and I'm so lucky that I'm with an institution that understands and embraces low carb, keto, carnivore, the fasting lifestyle, anything that's skewed from the government guidelines, they're okay with. And I
That
was
is,
so relieved. I was like, thank you. I don't have to hide essentially and tick boxes and BS. I came from a university before that, where it was like You are to tell people to eat the Australian healthy plate, and that is it. I'm like, well, I can't do that, I'm afraid. I'm not saying that I'm just going to tell everyone to eat carnivore, because I'm not. And I really look forward to consulting a wide variety of clients. And if they want to do low carb, great. If they want to do keto, fine. If they're a carnivore, wonderful. Come, vegans, vegetarians, I'll be there helping you. It doesn't matter who you are and where you come from. We're all human beings. And that's the way that I will consult. But I largely think I'm going to have the majority of my clients will probably be women. I just feel that. And that's probably due to the kind of content I put out. And it'll be largely in the keto space, keto carnivore space. So yeah, I'm so looking forward to having that diploma under my belt. And I would never dream of consulting anyone, in a paid capacity until that happens for me. And so that's my goal. That's what I'm really excited about.
That is exciting. So, yeah, when you're qualified, anyone can come to you and have a consultation. So that'll be great.
Come on down. I would love that.
That's great. So, did you have anything else you wanted to share to encourage people, or just anything that...
I would say, look, especially if you're going through adaptation and you're in your first little stages of the carnivore journey and healing, be gentle, be kind on yourself. You're coming probably from a diet that has been going for years and years and years. It's probably the standard, whatever diet you come from. There's going to be a lot of change. You're going to be really excited and really motivated. But when that first hurdle comes up, there'll probably be a tendency to be like, whoa, too hard. Don't want to do this anymore. But, if you feel like you need to be connected to community, there are so many different forums, Facebook groups, all that type of stuff. The information out there, it's like you'll be saturated in it. So, learn from the people that come across your path, hear their stories, share yours. There's something beautiful in connection if that's what you're seeking as well. So I would say if you're comfortable with that, online, being able to communicate and connect with people all around the world. Fiona, I wouldn't have met you, for example, had we not had this platform to be able to have these discussions. So I think it's amazing. And seeing what's happening for other people and where they've come from, and hearing their stories of success, or helping people work through challenges, I think there's something really beautiful in that. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Oh, that's good. I agree. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on my channel today. And if you want to get in contact with Alicia, it's the Baroness of Beef, and I'll put in the link down below. So thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, Fiona.
Bye.